Hello and welcome, dear human family, to another video update here. And today I have been approached by Gareth Ike's Right Now, if you know that. Gareth Ike being the son of the great David Icke. And I was contacted by the producer of Right Now, and I wanted to share with you that I'm going to do an update there on what the happenings are here in Austria. And there's big things happening. So I just thought I'll take the opportunity to get a little bit warm before I do the piece for Gareth Icke. And so do a little bit of a mind map and sort of order the information of, what's actually really going on. So if we take the iceberg model, the iceberg where you can see the peak of the iceberg, but there's much, much more of the iceberg beyond the water surface. And that's the same with reality. So the reason why I'm saying this is on the surface level of the iceberg model, it looks like Austria has gone totally crazy, and this is becoming like North Korea now, and it's a fascist state, and they've brought in segregation again now. People that are not vaccinated are not allowed to go on the Christmas markets, and that is the surface level of reality, which is horrible. Absolutely horrible. However, what are the exact dynamics at play here? Is it possible that it is a massive deception and we're losing out on 97%, maybe 98, 99% of the hidden background dynamics of what is always going on in any kind of situation? So you've got the surface level of reality. This is the plane in hermeticist terms. In terms of hermeticism, that's the plane of the effects, whereas the plane of the cause from which the effect came from is much broader and gives us a much bigger and clearer picture of what's really going on. So what's really going on? Okay, what's really going on is that the hidden, not only the controllers placed as political puppets in Austria, like in every other United Nations country, the puppets called the politicians have lost control, as well as the hidden controllers in the background that run this system of total enslavement. Those you do not see on the stage. And this goes beyond the banking dynasties. We're talking about the people that put the spells on people's minds. This is what's going on in the world. Everything else is distraction. Surface level of reality of the iceberg model. We keep talking about the feedback loop of the media, whereas the much broader dynamics here at play is that the entirety of humanity has been put under a spell. That's why, and I'm getting confirmation of this from many, many people, you can talk with people about a lot of different topics, like, for example, the banking system and how multinational corporations own the governments and dictating laws to the governments. However, you can't talk with people about the COVIDian cult agenda. Don't talk with them about COVID, because their minds have been framed and taken when it comes to that. So there's a massive spell that has been put on all of us, and as I like to point out all the time, there's no news here. Okay, there's nothing new under the sun. There's only ancient timeless, everlasting principles of the natural order. Why do I love saying that so much? Because I have to kick myself out of Plato's cave regularly. This is where the mind spell is going on always with the media, and things are getting worse, and now they've got the lockdown for the unvaccinated in Austria. Yes, it's a good sign. It's a good sign. This reality is paradoxical. It's not linear. This reality is based on a paradox, meaning life gives you your greatest gifts disguised as your worst nightmare. When you're being crushed, as I shared with you the other day, actually I've got it here also. No, I don't have it here. But basically, when you're being crushed, be happy because you're in a process of transformation. Just like olives get crushed in order to create and transform olives into olive oil, or grapes being crushed in order to produce wine. That's a process of transformation. Like the most fertile soil you can have is black soil. Yeah, that's where real potential for transformation really is. Okay? What my entire work is based on is to go beyond the scene level of reality, the surface level of reality. Oh my God, we've got the lockdown for the unvaccinated. So what are we going to do now? Are we going to be like little children? Little victims? Oh God, I want to go to mummy. No. No, it's the time to stand up, and they have just created the biggest awakening you can imagine here in this country. We've got major people with a lot of respect in this country, sportsmen that everyone knows, coming forward writing open letters to the politicians that they don't go along with this any longer. They've totally blown the lid on everything. It's like a red pill throughout society of what's going on. And on Saturday, they have a massive demonstration happening in the middle of the heart of Austria in Vienna, with all sort of like the main opposition party. Yes, they're all controlled opposition, okay? I get that. Don't ever expect any worthwhile solution to this whole crisis from any political party. You know why? And you know what that tells you? That you're the solution. You are the game changer. They called the vaccine the game changer, when in actual fact, you are the game changer. Same as I am the game changer. The mavericks. Those who do not fit in society. Those who get fucked up the most and emotionally damaged. Who can't take this insanity and then retrieve for months into their own shell. Like I did the last half a year. For more than a year I was out in the open. Out in the open. Speaking every single week in Linz about the dark occult hidden agenda in this world. How they're doing it. Ancient psychologists. How the knowledge they're most afraid of is natural law. As my last video was, they may control the money supply, but they do not control the law. They do not control that. That is the Achilles heel, where I like to put a little bit more salt on that wound. Oh, you don't like that? Oh, then I love it. Because ultimately speaking, we have to raise ourselves out of that victim role. That's why we have these dark occultists as our teachers. I don't like them. Yes, they're wreaking absolute havoc with this experiment that they've put out on humanity. But always remember that yes, people have been subjugated to propaganda like never seen before. However, everyone has had the choice. We have to be clear on this. Everyone has had the choice, basically. Okay, there's cases in other parts of the world where we've seen people being forced to take this, being forced into it. Yes, it's a difficult place to be on here on planet Earth, and because you are even here listening to these words shows you how powerful and amazing you are. And no one is like you. I say this because I myself go through dark and difficult times, and I don't realize that there comes a time where I need to realize that I am the guiding light. I'm unique. I'm different to all the others. Totally unique. I have a unique perception of the world. Unique field of research, unique ideas, unique conclusions. I do things different. And so are you. And if you want to have a big picture perspective of what's going on in the world, is that we live in a world of Wetiko. There's a mind parasite, a mind virus operating on our minds the whole time, and it has been operating on our minds ever since we came into this world. And now it's fully out in the open. That we can even see the mind virus all around us in people's behavior. Blaming other people. The vaxxed blaming the unvaxxed. That is the mind virus. And you know what Wetiko does? We don't have to heal Wetiko. Wetiko, this mind virus, heals us of our bad attitude. When we do the shadow work. When we face ourselves, the most difficult thing to do. Being honest with yourself, and then also, this is an experience that I had yesterday, clearing the energies of the past with other people. Not only seeing your own mistakes, but also telling them you overstepped boundaries there. And that's what I learned through this interaction. That's one of the most important lessons that I've ever learned. And I only learned it this year. You set your own boundaries. You know, when you look into the etymology of evil, it has to do with transgressing boundaries. That's what evil is. It's transgressing boundaries. So what's the solution to evil? You set the boundaries. In other words, you set the law. They control the money supply, but they do not control the law. They do not control the objective difference between right and wrong behavior, which is the highest level of knowledge in the pyramid. In the knowledge pyramid. That's the highest level of knowledge, is to know that there is an objective difference, meaning you have no influence as a mortal in mortal flesh and blood, as an infinite expression of consciousness of spirit. even in your infinity and oneness with everything, no one has the power and has the authority to stand above the law, the natural order, the objective difference between right and wrong. You cannot control it. I cannot control it. Mr. Rothschild can't control it. The whole dark occult priest class can't control it, because it is true that something is right when it does not cause harm to other sentient beings, and something is wrong when that action causes harm to other sentient beings. Full stop. The highest level of knowledge, and that's what is going to take them down. How do you know that you are in the new earth already? How do you know that you're in the new paradigm when the old earth, the old paradigm being a timeline, a frequency that you sync to, like a radio dial that you dial into and you tune into that radio, and you're like, that signal is very distorted, isn't it? These psychopaths in this hierarchically pyramidical structure on this distorted frequency reality, they don't take any responsibility. They always get away with things. They force you to pay taxes, otherwise they threaten you with violence. And their entire claim to power and their power maintenance is based on violence and requires increasing violence to maintain. That frequency dial, that reality on that frequency is now changing. How do you know you're in the new channel? How do you know you're in the new paradigm? How do you know you're part of the new earth? You've gotten to this point here, to this moment here right now where you're listening to me speak. That's how you know. And you know how you really know. Do you know how you really know that you're in the new paradigm, that you're in the new earth? How do you know you're in the new paradigm? By knowing what ended the old paradigm. That's how you switch realities. Yeah, you got the key. There you have it. You know that? You got the key. You're through. Now enjoy the rest, how this is going to play out. The old paradigm ended because of the realization that we are all powerful. All the power is inside of us. And the old paradigm ended because suddenly we realized that every one of us is part of humanity. And every one of us is responsible for our own actions. What is natural law? Natural law mirrors back to you the consequences of your behavior. What you put into cause is mirrored back to you in the effects of your experienced reality. Cause and effect. Nothing escapes the law. That's what we realized in the old paradigm. We're all responsible. And this hierarchically structured system, where there's presidents and prime ministers, and you are really down there in this pyramid, down in the base is the useless eaters, as Mr. Kissinger would call us. The useless eaters down on the base of the pyramid. And you've got politicians and prime ministers and presidents and above the president, into the secret society networks, into the satanic networks, into the satanic priest classhood, who are putting the spell on humanity, doing their dark occult rituals, sacrificing one of mankind the whole time, using that energy and twisting, inverting that energy, manipulating the morphogenetic field around Earth, and implementing over decades and decades and decades the ideology of Satanism, so nobody realizes that actually the society we now live in is totally satanic. Because what happens is, from the top of this pyramid, of this satanic priest class, down to the base of the pyramid, they assimilate everyone into this ideological mind virus. They assimilate everyone in this pyramid by screwing with people's moral compass. That we do not do what is right, but we do what is wrong because of in fear of the consequences if we do what is right. That's why this whole system, this whole pyramidical system is only running and operating still because of the money. Oh, you don't want to do the right thing and throw your muzzle away. You wear it because you don't want to lose your house. You're afraid of the unknown. You're afraid of your own power. You're afraid of breaking your habit and being yourself truly, experiencing that. When I quit my studies in 2017, I never knew what I was going to do. I'm here now. How did I get here? When you live according to the truth, you're looked after. And I'm telling you, this thing is coming down here in Austria. This is what's really going on. This thing is coming down now. I've just been on the phone to Errol. We're doing fantastic. Big connection. We all have to go through what we have to go through to find ourselves, and then we reunite. Everyone makes mistakes. Everyone's allowed to make mistakes. Only evil comes out when we do not learn from our mistakes. Then we have to make the mistake again. That's also fine, but we'll get there in the end. We'll learn the learning lesson eventually, and then we move on. So there's full unity there. And you know where they are right now? In Saint Corona. Yeah. How does that all add up? Why is that in Austria? Saint Corona in Austria. The first country to impose full-blown fascism again through segregation of society. With our history. What's going on here? Well, I think we're about to find out. I think this pyramid is coming down. I think we're taking the whole country back now. This is what's going on. And I'm here to experience it together with you guys. There is light. We don't know where it is first going to happen, but humanity has had enough. There's no way back. They're rushing all of this through, and this does not look like any form of control. The police in this country have already said they're not going to control people. It's impossible to do that. Impossible to control who's unvaccinated and then be able to prove that when you ask, it's impossible to control. The military is joining the people in the protest in what is going to be the biggest protest in the history of Austria. And many, many more things that are going to come from this now. The energy is clearing. And you know what's happening privately with me right now? My entire family has got COVID symptoms. And I have nothing. I'm as fit as I've ever been. And actually today, I completed my 33rd day of jumping into the ice-cold river, going swimming. How do you get to the 33rd degree of Freemasonry? Jumping in the ice-cold water for 5 minutes today and doing it the 33rd day in a row. Isn't that funny? I can only highly recommend it. When you've got the chance, check out the information from Wim Hof. This information has gone all around the world. And why? Why is someone like Wim Hof so incredibly successful with his message? Because he didn't push it. He just did what he felt was the right thing to do. And suddenly he even got the mainstream media on board. That's how you play with the Matrix. You don't fight against the Matrix. You see that the Matrix is a prison and school at the same time, because this reality is paradoxical and there's two sides of the same coin at all times, with all things and all events, all people. Dark and light at the same time transcend, both light and dark, by coming into balance. Why was he so successful? Didn't push anything, just did what felt right to him and not creating any enemies. Then everyone gets curious and everyone knows about the Wim Hof technique. That's what I also plan to do. I don't fight this system. There's lots of videos you can find here on YouTube where I get really angry, and boy did I get really angry yesterday. Clearing massive amounts of energy with a friend I used to have in the past. And boy did that clear out. And do I feel much better now. I'm in my power. I'm in my power. And yeah, stick to principles. See that this portrayal that this is going to continue all the time and all along, and now there's nothing you can change. The dark occult is going to rule over us forever, and their takeover bid is successful. Only seems like that on the surface level of the iceberg model. The other 97-98% underneath what's going on in the water, they've lost. And you can tune into that channel where we've won. They've lost, we've won. Great. Why? Because guess what? This is what these dark occultists are really going to run away from. Having to face themselves truly with what I'm going to say here right now. You know why they failed? I've already said, how do you know you're in the new paradigm? By knowing what ended the old paradigm. Realizing that we're all responsible. No one can run away from that. Because it's embedded in the fabric of the universe. So, what's going to dawn on the dark occult and on all of us is that true power is only possible when you take responsibility. Power? What is power? Let's ask these fundamental questions again, shall we? What this PSYOP and the people who want this digital totalitarianist dystopia. What they're doing is and has nothing to do with power. It is abuse of power in the form of violence. It's not power. Power is not a tool, and power is not organized hierarchically. Because otherwise only the top of the pyramid would have power, and those underneath have less and less power until we have nearly no power in comparison to the top of the pyramid. Makes no sense. That's not an equal universe. How about fucking justice, huh? How about an equal playing field? You know how you equal the playing field? You know how you equal the playing field? You know how they came into that abuse of power position? They came into that abusive power position, into the abuse of power, because of a knowledge differential. There's a difference and a differential between the general public at the base of the pyramid to those on the top of the pyramid. Okay? There's a basic difference, and it is in knowledge. That's why they hide the information about natural law. And this knowledge differential creates a power differential and creates the abuse of power over us and drumming into us that we have no power. Power is not a thing. We are the tools of power. Power can work through us. It's like a field. When you dissolve your own shadows and you face yourself in the mirror and you start believing in yourself, and you know, like the video, go and watch that video after this one on my channel. Beautiful Dear Danny. You're in for the big fucking game. Watch that video after that one. That will truly get you pumped. Realize that it's inside of us. That all the outside, that this collective psychosis is there to trigger our awakening. This collective psychosis of normal, the new normal. Oh, that's normal now. No, that's crazy. That's crazy as shit. This collective psychosis makes you say, no, I'm not a part of that crazy bunch. I'm not a part of those who get the swab and get the 5G inserted into me in the mainframe of the matrix. That's crazy. I'm not part of that. That collective psychosis triggers individuation. I'm unique. I'm special. I'm totally different to everyone else, but I'm still one with everyone. It's one singular consciousness expressing itself subjectively. That's what it is. We're all connected. Now we're coming together. So, just for the record, we're about to tip the whole power dynamics 180 degree and change it here in Austria 180 degree. It's already manifesting on the physical plane, like this iceberg model that I showed you on. It's already manifesting there. What do you think is going on energetically? Have you been feeling under the water a little bit lately? Yeah, it's this powerful energies coming through. Very powerful energies. And they make us become ill, become sick, and just flush the whole body through. We're tuning into new frequency. The new reality. That's what's happening. That's what's going on. Beyond the surface. Of the surface level of reality. Oh, it's all bad. Oh my god. Austria, there's lockdown for the unvaccinated. Oh, we're such victims. No. Life gives you your greatest gifts, disguised as your worst nightmare. This is a great sign that freedom can't be far away. And I'm programming the matrix now. Everything runs according to my will. True healing is through my willpower. My will is stronger than the will of my environment. My will shall happen. I program reality. Because I accept the matrix for what it is. I don't fight with it anymore. I recognize that the true principle of changing anything is know thyself, know the enemy. Take the energy, what you're being pressured by the system in the form of money. I just got a letter here where the police want to arrest me, okay? Because I'm not paying fines. I've never felt better in my life. How's that? Life is paradoxical. This shows me when they want to lock me up is how afraid they are. What are they afraid of? Wetiko. It's not people sending this to me. It's Wetiko trying to scare me because you're about to wake up from your dream. We're about to take over. They can't lock me up against my consent because I know, as I said before, evil comes from the transgressing of boundaries. Okay? And when I set those boundaries, this is the masculine principle, to the opening principle and opening up to love, to not always be cramped in and not being able to open up. This is also something that I'm working on, to open up to that love. Okay, this is the feminine principle. The masculine principle is putting a stop to. When I say stop, you stop. Everything else is transgressing boundaries. So I have no trouble with this. Oh, they want to take me to... No, I'll write a notice. I'm setting that boundary by setting the law, by realizing law is not something fixed. It's something that wants to happen through you. That's what they least want. Oh no, that's the law. It's outside. You've got the human rights and all that. You've got the Constitution, so why doesn't it apply? They want, especially law. Again, they control the money supply, but they do not control the law. So what do? These dark occult Satanists. Oh my god, I'm spilling their worst secret. Oh my god, don't cry. They plant it all around in your lucid dream. They show you the Constitution and the human rights, and you always talk, I've got human rights and all that. You don't have any rights when you don't state those rights. When you don't set your law. Meaning, for example, oh, so you want to come here and arrest me for XYZ? Well, you can only do that when I give consent to the legal fiction in capital Latin, my name, the company that was created for me in this system, but I do not consent to that identification with that legal status. My status now that I'm writing to you in my private capacity. As a man, I'm writing to you, or as a woman. These are the terms to use. As a man, this is on top of the pyramid of law. When you don't set your law, the law is set on you. That's how it works. The legal law, through tacit agreement. And what really gets us out of this matrix is by realizing what the true masters do. Hermeticists. That's wisdom from the Kybalion, the book, the Kybalion. Alright? The real masters know how to raise their attitude, their mentality, to raise your mentality above the ordinary plane. and therefore you become causes instead of effects. You become active instead of passive. You invent reality instead of having a manufactured reality imposed on you as infinite consciousness, creating your own reality every single second in every single moment of your existence. And they are terrified of you finding out this knowledge that I'm dropping on you, because I don't have a stake in the outcome. I don't earn any money from my job. I just get by out of that which I get from creation, and being thankful for it. And when I stand in my truth, I will be helped. That's how it works. Become causes instead of effects. Because what the masters do is they don't get used by the principles, because they use the principles. Active. Set your law, and then you tell them, I'm operating here in the private. If you come to my house, if you make a threat to me once again through paperwork, I'm gonna charge you 500 euros for that paperwork. When you come to my premise, when you ring the doorbell, that costs you 5,000 euros. You set everything in advance because you know they're a bluff. You know they're acting from legislation that is not law. And you know, here we go again, they do not control the law. And you're doing the right thing by setting that boundary. And then you put on the corona. You switch into that new reality timeline. Can you imagine it? Does that message resonate with you? Then you're part of the new paradigm of the human family. And I'm so happy that we will be united for real once again. Looking forward to get to know all of you guys all across the world. I want to see the world, and now's the freaking time to do that. I'm not buying into this bullshit. Not being able to travel, and what sort of a future? I'm inventing reality. I want to travel the whole world, want to meet all of you, and we'll have a great time discovering our true history, doing the things that we're actually here to do. Enjoy ourselves. Alright, so till next time, take very good care. Much love. See ya.